Have you ever wondered why the news plays the same 5 stories again and again? Let me give you a little hint. Brainwashing and repetition is the most basic form of brainwashing. Join me as we look at the news cycle and talk about why the mainstream media is so gutless and afraid to report the truth. Happy 5th of July. Welcome to Troubled Minds News. Let's get this microphone situation situated. And what's up, guys? What's up? Happy Monday. And like I always say on Monday, don't get too down because, well, Friday's just around the corner. What's up? I hope everybody's doing well. And this is the show we call Troubled Minds News. And I'm your host, Michael Strange. And we talk about the news here. And not just the news, really, more like the conspiracy that is the news. And what I mean by that is, of course, that we have a situation with a dishonest mainstream media. And, as a result of that, it's important to point out when they're lying, which is all the time, all the time. And it's also important to point out what might actually be considered real news anymore. And so that's what we do. We get together on Mondays and Fridays, and we talk about this in particular, the conspiracy that is the news. So we used to, in the old days, I'm actually going back and editing up the podcasts and removing some of the news segments from the old shows, because we used to just so they can go up on the podcast feed. Because clearly, if you listen to a podcast that just goes up like today, you don't want to hear news from 6 months ago or something like this. So I'm trimming out the news parts and that used to be in the shows and then putting those up on the podcast feed. So clearly this we used to do a news segment on Troubled Minds Radio, and it just got larger and larger, and so it turned into its own show at some point. So that's what we're doing here. We're here talking about this stuff, and these do go up on the podcast feed as well, so they'll all be on the same feed, and you can find all that information at troubledminds.org. And also, this is live. Did I mention we've always done the show live? Well, we will always do the show live. If you want to be part of it, go to troubledminds.org, and you can find the Discord link there. And we also have a phone number rolling. And that number, of course, is 702-957-1037. And give us a call at any point, and we'll put you on the show. We can talk about the news or any of this other stuff. Because, well, there's all kinds of other stuff to talk about. As you know, it seems like... fix this damn microphone. What the hell's going on with this thing? It seems like there's just more and more, right, to talk about, as like the media doesn't realize what the hell's really going on. It just seems like there's more to point out here, and just some more ugly kind of theater of the ugly type news, which we'll get to in just a sec. So anyway, one more time, 702-957-1037, troubledminds.org. You can find the phone number at the website and also the Discord link, and there you go. So let's start with the news, shall we? Let's get going. Let's pull some. Since it is the 5th of July, let's go for some patriotic news here. Let's start with this. Let's start with Gizmodo, and yep, you guessed it. You'll never believe this, but Mark Zuckerberg released a video yesterday on Instagram, and the headline reads this: Zuck wishes America a happy birthday in the most cursed way possible. Yeah, that's right. So as you can see in the video here, this is looks like a GIF that they've put up on this thing from his Instagram. Mark Zuckerberg is out there on this thing called whatever this thing is called. It's like I looked it up. It's about a 12 or no, how much is it? Like maybe $1,000, $1,400, something like this for this whatever thing he's on. but it's like a little surfboard thing that has like a motor underneath. I don't know what there's a name for this. Anyway, let's read some of the article, and you guys can enjoy the Mark Zuckerberg with an American flag GIF on a contraption that's way more expensive than most of us can afford. So, just saying, just saying. But okay, so let's read this from Gizmodo, this is exactly what's going on with Zuckerberg, of course, right? I saw this, so now you have to see it too. It may look like one of those deep fake videos, but I swear to you, it's the real deal. Yep. While other people were out roasting hot dogs or watching fireworks on Sunday, Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg chose to celebrate the 4th of July by gracing the internet with a video of himself surfing while holding an American flag as "Take Me Home, Country Roads" by the late John Denver plays in the background. Yep, that's what happened. It's right there on his Instagram. You can find it in the link if you want to. I can't play the song because, well, they'll take me off of Twitch or whatever. But what the hell's going on with this, right? So this absolutely cursed video is the latest in a string of bizarre PR moments from old Zuck, who last month shared videos of him shooting arrows at bowling pins and throwing spears at wooden targets, shown in slow motion, so you can fully appreciate how cool he is. So at least this time, the billionaire appears to have been more conservative with his sunscreen application, blah, blah, blah. Happy July 4th, Zuckerberg wrote in the video's caption on Instagram. The social media response can be summed up in a word: why? Like, what the hell's going on here, right? Quotes. This is from somebody on Instagram. Someone told Mark Zuckerberg to act totally normal for 4th of July. And another person wrote, how does a person manage to look even more like a robot on video than he does in photos? So there you go. There's Mark Zuckerberg. The video you didn't know you needed, hopping around on an expensive water gizmo, holding the American flag. Yay. I think somebody needs to explain to him what the Bill of Rights mean, and maybe talk about his surveillance platform that's probably selling information to the CIA. Yeah, maybe, right? Maybe. Yeah, pretty sick, pretty grotesque. I don't know, like these people seem to be, they live in their own world clearly, because if anybody's stoked about this, well, please call me, because I want to know why. I see this and I just shake my head like, oh, yep, nice. You should have just been wearing like a Rolex and like a big gold chain while you were at it. That would have been the cherry on top. America. Happy 4th, America. Here's Zuckerberg doing something stupid. Yeah. All right. Anyway, let's see. There's more here. I think there's another 4th of July. Yeah. There's another 4th of July story here. Where is it? Let me get it. No. Yeah, there we go. Here's another one. Let's go to RT, which of course is Russia Today. So don't skewer me here because we're doing Russian propaganda, but it is news. So this is interesting because we've talked about this in the past in the one show we did regarding predictive programming and Hollywood, how they kind of are controlled by the military-industrial complex and the CIA, and they have to get permission in some cases for movie scripts and things like this. So if everybody remembers Independence Day back in the old days, right, with Will Smith and Bill Pullman and that whole bit, remember? We will not go quietly into the night. We will not vanish without a fight. We're going to live on. Today, we celebrate our Independence Day, right? That was from the movie there, if you remember that. But check this out. Headline is this from RT. No Area 51, and you can't blow up the Pentagon. So the Department of Defense attempted censoring Independence Day movie script, archive files reveal. So notably, I guess that the DOD wasn't happy with the way that this movie played out for a number of reasons here. So I guess, let's see. So they just had these files released, and it says these never-before-published files on Independence Day were exclusively obtained from archives at Georgetown's Langer Library from the Marine Corps History Division, and they detail how the movie was ultimately rejected after lengthy arguments over the screenplay. Unusually, some of the changes demanded by the Pentagon made it into the shooting script even after the military turned down the project. So, of course, right, in the movie, they've got, I believe it was F-15s back then that they were flying around. And so, if you're using military equipment, you kind of have to, like, bend over backwards to what they say what they tell you to do. So anyway, here we go. Things started well enough when the producers pitched Independence Day to Hollywood liaison offices as a potential recruitment bonanza. A memo from producer Dean Devlin to Phil Strub at the Pentagon read, "We're going to make Star Wars and Top Gun look like paper airplanes. Just wait. There's never been any aerial footage like this before. If this doesn't make every boy in the country want to fly a fighter jet, I'll eat this script." But the fun police were not happy with the screenplay, and the files detail months of tense negotiations between the producers and the military's script reviewers. According to the files, a consistent problem with the DoD felt the story had no true military heroes because Will Smith's character drinks beer, dates a stripper, steals a helicopter, and gives fireworks to a child. The producers removed the beer and beefed up some of the other military characters to try and compensate, but Smith's character remained a bone of contention. Even after several reviews, the military was still urging the writers to energize and clean up Stevens' actions. Yeah, Will Smith, right? The dirtiest of the dirty. Clean that guy up, right? Like, what the hell? In any case, so Independence Day had some problems with the DoD. So not just that, there's more, right? So we had the problem where they wanted more military heroes that weren't dating the strippers or whatever. How dare they? Where's my do I have a Greta clip? No Greta clip. My shit got broke when I had to upgrade my hard drive. Anyway, so the military had problems with the wider story and how ineffective they were shown to be in the face of a hostile takeover by extraterrestrials. One memo on Independence Day concluded, quote, "The overall scenario does not leave the public with a positive impression of the military and its capabilities. We see military bases and aircraft decimated by the aliens, and ultimately it takes a civilian to stop the alien takeover," which of course is not acceptable, right? You have to have a military hero. And if anybody remembers, spoiler alert on a 25-year-old, how many years is it now? I guess it probably says it in the beginning. Yeah, 25th anniversary. So 25-year-old movie. Spoiler alert, at the end, Randy Quaid's drunk pilot self smashes into the alien mothership that they're fighting and takes one of them down. And of course, he's not military. And they actually started to, is the audio, how's the audio choppy again? Oh, okay, it's gotta be you. No, we got the microphone in rare effect today. No, I'm just kidding. All right, so here we go. So the military also had problems, right? They didn't want to see that. In one version of the script, the files reveal Randy Quaid's alcoholic crop duster saves the day by drunkenly flying his crop dusting plane into the giant UFO, right? With his actual crop dusting, old school piece of crap plane. He's supposed to fly out of nowhere because in the script, they actually, when the movie came out, they allowed him to fly an actual F-15 because they were short on pilots. But in the original, they turned him down because he was drunk and said, nope, no chance, you're not going up with us. And then he shows up anyway in his little red crop duster and destroys the aliens. But you can't have that because clearly if a civilian saves the military with just a red crop dusting plane, it makes the military look like a bunch of bozos, doesn't it? I think so. So, well, and this is what I mean, right? This is the world we live in where everything is public relations, everything. And so if you're going to use military equipment and have cooperation from the DoD in any capacity, you have to basically do what they tell you regarding their script demands. And so, of course, right, propaganda, censorship, all the things we always talk about China, right? About us, of course. China is not the only ones. But so then when these movies go to China, they even have to be vetted by the Chinese CCP to kind of trim out the things that may be not so flattering to China itself. So anyway, interesting that this is one of those weird things that you kind of really don't think about when you go see the movies, right? You just want to have a good time and be left alone from all the propaganda and all the other BS that you see on TV. However, they jam it in there anyway. And so among some other things in this article, if you want to read it, I encourage you to, they talk about they didn't want Area 51 in the movie at all. because they were tired of hearing about aliens at Area 51, so they didn't want to push that myth forward. So they said, and then another one is in the movie, the original script, they tried to blow up the Pentagon. All right. And the DOD was like, nope, we're not doing that. We are not blowing up the Pentagon. You have to remove that from the script. So you see things like this. They did the Area 51 anyway. It was like screw you, it's central to the movie, we're going to have to do this. But they didn't, if you remember, they did not blow up the Pentagon. They blew up the White House, which I guess is acceptable if you're the DOD. Go ahead and blow up the White House, but not the Pentagon, right? So the aliens did blow up the White House, and there was an escape and all the rest of that. So anyway, I think it's interesting and funny and a little bit tragic as well that this is what goes on in Hollywood, and they have to ask permission if they're going to get any cooperation from the government at all about what they can do. So yeah, if you think this isn't going on in the world we live in, well, it is. It is. All right, let's go to space.com. Space.com. What's up, guys? This show's live, 702-957-1037. Phone number's up, troubledminds.org. Click the Discord link. Get your ass in here. And what do you think about how was the 4th for everybody? Did everybody celebrate? We just stayed home and barbecued, and it was all good. But that's like most weekends for me. I'll stay home and barbecue, and it's all good. Take the dog out and play some fetch, and it's good. America, right? Absolutely. It was a good time for me. I hope you guys had a good weekend. All right, let's go to space.com. A strange signal is coming from the Milky Way. What's causing it? Dun, dun, dun. Let's see. On April 28th, 2020, 2 ground-based radio telescopes detected an intense pulse of radio waves. It only lasted a mere millisecond, but for astonished astronomers, it was a major discovery, representing the first time a fast radio burst had ever been detected so close to Earth. We talk about these fast radio bursts from time to time on this show because they seem to be news, don't they? They seem to make the news. So this one in particular was located just 30,000 light years from our planet. The event was firmly within the Milky Way, and it was, to all intents and purposes, almost impossible to miss. The Canadian Hydrogen Intensity Mapping Experiment, the CHIME, and the Survey for Transient Astronomical Radio Emissions, the STARE2, certainly had no problems picking it up. Chime wasn't even looking in the right direction, and we still saw it loud and clear in our peripheral vision, said Kiyoshi Masui, assistant professor of physics at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. STARE2 also saw it, and it's only a set of a few radio antennae literally made out of cake pans. Cake pans. There you go. Cake pans. Did you know they had radio antennas made out of cake pans? I didn't. Anyway, until that point, all fast radio bursts have been observed outside our galaxy. They've been billions of light years away, making them a lot harder to study, said doctoral candidate in physics Pragya Chawla from McGill University in Canada. April 2020's discovery was also notable for being the most energetic radio blast that astronomers had ever recorded in the Milky Way. But what made it most exciting is that scientists are now closer to determining the origin of fast radio bursts than at any point since they were first discovered. Now, like I said, we talk about this from time to time. Remember, fast radio bursts, they had been speculated in the past to possibly be alien signals trying to contact us or something or other, and it's kind of been because they didn't repeat. Now we've found several that actually do repeat, and they seem to be on a schedule. Which last time we talked about this some time ago, it seemed that if they're on an actual predictable schedule, it seems more like a orbital sort of situation or something happening that's a little more natural than you wouldn't expect, like aliens to be sending a signal on an exact schedule. Beep. Watch the clock. Beep. It doesn't make sense, right? You'd think it would be a little more random if it was an alien civilization. I'm not ruling that out because I don't like to rule anything out. So instead, we'll keep an eye on this as it develops. But what do you think these fast radio bursts are? Some have said they're magnetars and other things. but some space, deep space type of situation going on here with just a huge releases of energy, let's say. So I don't know what's going on with this, other than this one's close, and hopefully maybe they can get to the bottom of it. That would be pretty sweet. So that's the deal. Let's go to let's see where we at time wise. Are we okay? Yeah, we're okay. Let's actually hear a quick word from our sponsor, which is you.
Are you digging the show? If so, you can support us quite easily and at no additional cost to you if you already have an Amazon Prime account. Since we stream on Twitch every day, all you have to do is link your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account, and they give you free games on a monthly basis for your personal use, and also a bonus $5 a month to send to your favorite streamer as a way to bring more people to Twitch. And all you have to do is sync up the two accounts and click subscribe. Thanks for considering us.
All right, let's go to the SeattleTimes.com, and this is interesting because we've talked about this quite often in the past. Being able to stand up to algorithms, to algorithmic scrutiny as a mere mortal. This is the type of stuff that the future will bring. And if anybody's ever tried to contact Facebook, as you know, I've run ad accounts on Facebook and run lots of Facebook ads in my time. And if anybody's actually tried to contact Facebook regarding an issue with their ad account or this or that or the other thing, you'll know exactly what I mean. Often enough, they don't actually respond. Like I have a friend that also runs Facebook ads, quite a lot of them, and he had an ad account suspended 3.5 years ago. All right, so he did all the things, the appeals, and sent the emails, and was like, I don't understand everything. I've been following the rules, all this other stuff, and never heard back. So just had to open up another ad account, right? Jump through some hoops and open up another ad account. But then, no shit, 3.5 years later, they send him an email that says, "Oh, sorry, it was our error," and they reinstate his ad account 3.5 fucking years later. Can you believe that? Now this is what I'm talking about, with not just full spectrum algorithmic control. It also allows them to act like assholes and not really have to, be transparent and back up their products. And that's what I mean when you're trying to file an appeal to Facebook or other places. Try Google for AdSense. I've had one of those banned as well. You don't once they determine that whatever it is they've decided is it, you don't get appeals. You don't, there's nobody to speak on your behalf because they just smack it down and ignore your email, and that's that. It's a wrap. And a lot of times it's a lot of money involved, right? So it's not cool. This is not okay. And there needs to be things like this actually arbitrated. I mean, I hate to say that we need more red tape, but for crying out loud, shit like this happens, or that 3.5 year ad account. That's ridiculous. That's literally ridiculous. Anyway, here we go. This is from Seattle Times. Fired by bot at Amazon. Quote, "It's you against the machine." Stephen Normandin spent almost 4 years racing around Phoenix delivering packages as a contract driver for Amazon. Then one day he received an automated email. The algorithms tracking him had decided he wasn't doing his job properly. The 63-year-old Army veteran was stunned. He'd been fired by a machine. Normandin says Amazon punished him for things beyond his control, such as locked apartment complexes that had prevented him from completing his deliveries. He said he took the termination hard and, priding himself on a strong work ethic, recalled that during his military career, he helped cook for 250,000 Vietnamese refugees at Fort Chaffee in Arkansas. Quote, "I'm an old school kind of guy, and I give every job 110%, he said. This really upset me because we're talking about my reputation. They say I didn't do the job when I know damn well I did. Normandin's experience is a twist on the decades-old prediction that robots will replace workers. At Amazon, machines are often the boss, hiring, rating, and firing millions of people with little or no human oversight. Yep, that's right. That's what's happening out there. Amazon became the world's largest online retailer in part by outsourcing its sprawling operations to algorithms, sets of computer instructions designed to solve specific problems. For years, the company has used algorithms to manage the millions of third-party merchants on its online marketplace, drawing complaints that sellers have been booted off after being falsely accused of selling counterfeit goods and jacking up prices. But for real, they're selling tons of counterfeit goods on Amazon, just so you know. It's a real thing. So anyway, point being is that this is a little bit, it sucks. This sucks. This is where we're headed, right? And if there's no appeal, there's no human oversight. So I actually did this. I actually drove exactly what this guy's describing for a while there back in the day for some extra money. I was driving Amazon on the weekends, actually running exactly this. And so I know what he's talking about. And it's a little bit, it was easy. It was easy work, except the problem is you're kind of at the mercy of, the mob, basically, meaning this. So let's say, everybody knows when you order something from Amazon, they just drop it at your doorstep, right? So let's say you've got, you live in a sketchy neighborhood and packages get stolen on the regular, right? Like, if that happens, that goes down as a mark against the driver for not delivering, right? Because it won't go down as a package stolen, it will go down as a package not delivered. That never happened to me that I know of, but the issue here is that if there's no human oversight, and let's say this guy was doing a great job for 4 years, and then something like this did happen, or he was locked out of an apartment, which has happened to me as well, meaning that there's like a gate code that they can't provide, and you call in to the Amazon support to help you get in, and they can't help you. Like, the worst thing you can do while you're doing that is to call Amazon, because you have like a time frame to get all your shit done, and if you call them, you're on the phone for 20 minutes and they basically tell you, sorry, we can't help. So you're better off just skipping it, right? Or trying to find some other way. So I would actually spend time waiting by the gate sometimes for somebody to just drive in, and I just follow them in, right? Like, you're better off waiting 5 minutes for the next car to drive in than you are calling Amazon to help you, because they'll just waste your time, kick you around to different employees, and then say, sorry, we can't help. You see, but this is your algorithmic future, where nobody gives a damn, and you're at the mercy of algorithms, and it's not cool. This is not okay. Like, I sympathize entirely with this, because the dude's out there hustling, right? The dude's out there getting his shit done, and bam, fired. So one time, actually, the only detriment that I got for doing this Amazon job while I was doing it is that on the way down there in the morning, I think it was like 9 o'clock. I was supposed to be there at 9 for my shift, 9 to 1. It was like a 4-hour block, they call it. But anyway, there was a death on the freeway. Literally, like, somebody had committed suicide or something on the freeway, and so it was the entire freeway down there by the Las Vegas Strip was just locked off. And so everybody was screwed. If you didn't see it before you could get off the freeway, you were fucked. You had to sit there in this mess. So I was late getting there. And then, of course, one time ever, the only time I was ever late, they send me a dirty email that says, if you do it again, you're out, right? It's like, okay, thanks. Thanks. Somebody died on the freeway, and you're going to fire me, who's never fucked up. It's just, it leaves a terrible taste in your mouth with when you're at the mercy of this stuff, and like I said, I'm not complaining for me, I'm okay, but I'm complaining for other people, complaining for guys like this that need this and are out there hustling their butt off trying to make things happen, and bam, can you imagine getting an email, fired by a computer? Yeah, no thanks, that sucks. It sucks. All right, anyway, let's go to theverge.com, and here's more. Let's see. No power, huh? Let's see. Yeah, exactly. Let's hope it's not the Russian army creating a power grid situation. And of course, it's not. It's going to be something way more innocuous than that. Just saying. Okay, let's go to Verge.com. The Verge. Researcher finds certain network names can disable Wi-Fi on phones. Weird. Yeah, there you go. A security researcher has found that certain Wi-Fi networks with the % symbol in their names can disable Wi-Fi on iPhones and other iOS devices. Carl Schau tweeted that if an iPhone comes within range of a network named % Secret Club % Power, the device won't be able to use Wi-Fi or any related features. And even after resetting network settings, the bug may continue to render Wi-Fi on the device unusable. That's weird. That's not exploitable or anything, is it? Interesting. A few weeks ago, Xiao and his not-for-profit group Secret Club, which reverse engineers software for research purposes, found that if an iPhone connected to a network with the SSID name, that would be your network name, %P, %S, anyway, it would cause a bug in iOS's networking stack that would disable its Wi-Fi, and system networking features like AirDrop would become unusable. Now, I'm a knucklehead when it comes to Apple stuff because I can't make this shit work. It's supposed to be the plug and play and everything's great, but if you need to like do anything fancy or set up any network things, it's all like you can't. It's not very open source. Let's say it's a pain in the ass. Android PCs I can do. I'm a wizard. I'm a wizard with that shit. This Apple stuff, I didn't grow up with, and maybe that's why. But like, it's supposed to be easy, and it's just not. Everything you try finding. Let's say you forgot your Wi-Fi password. Try getting your Wi-Fi password off of your device, which knows it. Your device knows it. Your iPhone knows it. But see if you can easily just put in a password and get your Wi-Fi password back. Right? You can't. Like simple things like that you should be able to do. You can't. You can't. I mean, clearly you can log into your router and some other. There are other ways. But let's say you're at somebody else's house, and you're trying to help them, which has happened to me quite often with, people. Oh, I screwed up my password and I can't, Like there's simple things you should be able to do with an iPhone and you can't. It's anyway. So maybe I need tech support from one of you guys. But anyway, here we go. So if you put a % in the Wi-Fi actual name of the network itself, it can disable iPhone Wi-Fi entirely. So not just kind of stop it from working immediately. Also rebooting and refreshing the network settings doesn't really fix it. So there's a problem, right? There's a problem. There's a big problem there. So it sucks. It kind of sucks. That's why I'm not a fan of Apple. It costs 3 times as much and it's like twice as hard to work. Like I just don't see the appeal. I'm sorry, I just don't. Anyway, so there we go. There's my Apple rant for the day. Let's go to CNBC, and this is welcome to your sustainable future. Actually, before we do this one, let's take a quick break. You are listening to Troubled Minds News. I'm your host, Michael Strange. Don't go anywhere. More news after the break. Okay, welcome back to Troubled Minds News. Let's get back to this. This is from CNBC.com. Headline is this: Bezos, Gates back fake meat and dairy made from fungus as next big alt protein. And there it is. There's your actual sustainable future. When you look to these technocratic nice guys, let's say, this is what we get. We've talked about here's your handful of crickets in your tiny home. Welcome to your sustainable future, right? While Obama is living the high life in his Martha's Vineyard mansion right on the water, no less, of all places, right? You figure if the sea level rise is going to be a thing in the next several decades, that maybe Obama wouldn't have bought a house on the water. Weird, right? Do you think that's weird? I think that's super weird. But I digress. Here we go. Let's go back to the article here. Speaking of your sustainable future, as consumers become increasingly comfortable eating faux meat burgers that look, cook, and taste like the real thing, a food tech startup backed by Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates is using fungus as the primary ingredient to create alt meat foods. Nature's Find, FYND, based in Chicago, has raised $158 million in funding from investors including Bezos, Gates, and Al Gore. The company's meatless breakfast patties and hamburgers, dairy-free cream cheese and yogurt, and chickenless nuggets are scheduled to hit grocers' shelves later this year. The alternative food sector skyrocketed in 2020, growing U.S. retail sales 27% and bringing the total market value to $7 billion, according to the Plant-Based Foods Association, the PBFA, a trade group comprising more than 200 member companies. Meanwhile, shipments of alt protein products from food service distributors to commercial restaurants rose 60% year over year in April, according to research firm NPD Group. All right, now you tell me, alt proteins. Does that sound How does that sound? An alt protein. It's bad enough that they process the shit out of the meat we're already eating, but now think about it. If they're going to replace it with this fungus or the handful of crickets or mealworms or the shit that we're always talking about them forcing us to eat, how much processing do you think goes into that? Right? I mean, if we're talking about processed food being the main culprit of cancer and things like this, what about this? Now they want us to switch over from regular meat, right? Butchering animals, right? Which again is horrific. I know they do some really terrible things when they're doing these. It's not humane at all, and all, et cetera, so on, right? I mean, you're butchering animals for crying out loud. But then we have this other business where they're like, well, by the way, we're going to have this alt protein, and we're going to put all these chemicals and shit in it. Now, here's the craziest part, right? They could probably get away with doing something like this and making it so it's not. What would you say? So it's not as bad for you, right? But what they do, of course, think about it, is they're trying to make things that aren't meat taste and have the texture of meat, right? The color, the texture, things like this. And so what they do is they put in a bunch of like ridiculous chemicals and shit, right? To make these things happen. Food dye, all kinds of other crap that shouldn't even be in there in the first place. If you're going to eat some damn fungus, eat some damn mushrooms, right? And you're good to go. Eat some blue cheese, right? But you see what I'm saying? That's not processed. This is going to be like triplicate process because they're going to try and make it actually taste like chicken nuggets or whatever the hell it's supposed to taste like, right? So you see, it's basically going from one terrible thing to another terrible thing, except probably the second terrible thing, which is this, is going to be so processed that you're going to be eating stuff that's not good for you. Nothing burgers. What's up, Helena? Nothing burgers. There you go. 40s. We'll file this under how could this go wrong? And so not only that, I've seen, I don't know how true this is, so don't quote me on this entirely, but I've seen that these Beyond Burgers and the Impossible Burgers and shit like this that's already out there has high levels of estrogen in them. And I don't know if that's true. I'll have to look into that to verify it. But, you know, it could be just a smear on the industry, but things like this, right? Like you don't know exactly what they're putting in this, you know. I don't know. Like I said, I love animals. I'm not for just butchering more animals. I don't think that's the way here. I think there are answers to these problems we have, and they are problems. We have billions of people on this earth, and trying to feed them all is a challenge. And then two, trying to feed them all with something like this becomes, I don't know. Yeah, synthetic can't be good to eat. Exactly right, says Helena. What's up, Hell21? How are you? Let's see. Jay says 70 mile down here, man. The show must be. Yep, must be. I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea. Let's continue, shall we? There's more. This is from ScienceAlert.com. Just trying to read the chat, and I'm doing it poorly. This is a Science Alert. New orbiter has caught glorious images of eerie alien auroras on Mars. Check this out. This is pretty hot. We just got our best views yet of an eerie alien aurora on Mars. Now, if you're looking at the pictures here, let me put this up in another tab. Oh, make it big. There you go. All right. So you see the bright side is the day side of Mars. The dark side is the night side, obviously. But then inside Mars itself, there's these weird little anomaly type things, which are supposedly alien auroras, right? Which are kind of in this green hue, I think, because this is what is this? Anyway, let's read the article. So here we go. Oops, that's too big. That's just way too big. All right, let's go. The United Arab Emirates Hope orbiter, which arrived at the red planet earlier this year, uses its ultraviolet spectrometer to catch glowing structures of glowing atomic oxygen high up in the Martian night sky. Quote, the full set of data collected during these observations include far and extreme ultraviolet auroral emissions, which have never been imaged before at Mars, said UAE Space Agency in an update to the HOPE website. The Martian aurora is both like and unlike the aurora seen here on Earth. It's unlike in that the Mars, I wrote this article is terrible. Don't they have editors? What the F? The Martian aurora is both like and unlike the aurora seen here on Earth. It's unlike in that Mars's aurora has yet to be seen in a spectrum visible to the naked eye. So far, only instruments that can see across ultraviolet wavelengths have been able to make them out. However, they are generated in the same manner as Earth's auroras. Particles from the solar wind streaming through space enter the Martian atmosphere and interact with gas in the upper atmosphere. Oxygen in Mars' case, the resulting ionization causes the oxygen to glow. And so there you go. I think that's pretty neat looking. And check it out. Actual Martian auroras. And there's another version there. Yeah. Pretty neat stuff. Talk about looking weird, right? I think that's looking pretty weird. So anyway, let's continue, shall we? This is from MS Power User. Yeah, MS Power User. We talked about this back in the day. Actually, I don't know if we actually talked about this on the show. Frank and I talked about this a long time ago, and it may not even have been on a show, one of our off the air rants. But here's the thing: MSPowerUser.com reports this. Microsoft, and I don't know if there's supposed to be a T there. See what I'm saying? Microsoft. Let's say Microsoft reportedly hides your LinkedIn profile in China if you mention Tiananmen Square. And so I've been done business on Alibaba and some other things, and dealt with China and their crappy messenger and their spyware and shit like this. And some of you get spammed, like you just get spammed, right? Like spamming you with prices of this product or that product or the other things, right? But in this in particular, so point being, the reason I brought that up is because if you're getting spammed from a particular, let's say, merchant from Alibaba or something, and you don't want them to spam you, you could actually just paste in the characters, the Chinese characters that spelled Tiananmen Square massacre, and they banned themselves. So we were talking about this years ago, and so this turns out that it's true. Apparently, this is true. I thought it was more of a like we did it back in the day, and it was funny, but maybe not so funny because maybe these people got like picked up and thrown in the gulag for all I know. But here we go. Microsoft, it is with a T. Microsoft has recently gotten into hot water with the extent of cooperation with Chinese censorship campaign. Let's see. Extent became evident when they accidentally censored Bing image searches for the Tiananmen Square tank man worldwide instead of just for China. Now, another element of this self-censorship became apparent when cybersecurity researcher Kevin Beaumont revealed Microsoft's LinkedIn hid your profile from Chinese searchers if you mentioned Tiananmen Square in it. OPSEC tip. This is from Kevin Beaumont and on Twitter. If you don't want to be phished via people in China on LinkedIn, add Tiananmen Square to your interests and your profile automatically becomes invisible in China after a few days. Reportedly, LinkedIn will send you a letter warning you of this action before you do this, allowing you to self-censor and remove this mention first. Yeah, there you go. So I thought it was interesting to note that apparently somebody has actually cataloged this out in the wild, really happening. And so if you do that, then they're going to censor you. And so not only that, so we have let's see, where is it? We got more censorship here, but there's an article that I have that actually fits this almost perfectly. All right, so let's go. So that's China, right? Microsoft, LinkedIn, and China. All right, with censorship. But here's some more. So this is from IndiaBlooms.com, and they're talking about Chinese students going to school in Australia. Now check this out. So Beijing threatening academic freedom of Chinese students in Australia, says HRW report. And yes, Australian universities have failed to protect the academic freedom of students from China and of academics who criticize the Chinese Communist Party, Human Rights Watch said in a report released recently. Pro-Beijing supporters and the Chinese governments have also harassed and intimidated those who express support for democracy movements. So students are broadly aware that such surveillance takes place, leaving them fearful. Many alter their behavior and self-censor to avoid threats and harassment from classmates and being, quote, reported on to authorities back home. Quote, Australian university administrators are failing in their duty of care to uphold the rights of students from China, said Sophie McNeil, Australia researcher at Human Rights Watch and author of the report. Australian universities rely on the fees international students bring while turning a blind eye to concerns about harassment and surveillance by the Chinese government and its proxies. The universities should speak out and take concrete action to support the academic freedom of these students and staff, the report said. So yeah, not only is China spying like crazy on their citizens inside China, when their students go abroad, they are also not only spying on them, they are encouraging them to rat each other out back to the motherland or the homeland or whatever the hell it is, right? Back to the establishment, the CCP. So, yeah, right. Like I said, there seems to be quite a lot of propaganda negative to China, and so yes, while some of it may be exaggerated, I have a hard time believing all of it's fake. I think that there's some really concerning things with China, notably human rights. Taiwan, Hong Kong are some pretty good examples recently, and this is gross. I mean, so if they go study abroad, they're going to learn Western ways, right? They're going to learn about democracy. They're going to learn about separation of powers. They're going to learn about checks and balances for the government and things like this, right? These are the things they don't want to teach you inside China, because of course they're teaching you to expect more as a citizen, and so these poor individuals go abroad to learn, and they have to self-censor so they don't get reported back to the CCP. Like, how sick is that? That's just gross. That's just gross. So anyway, some terrible stuff here, and it is what it is, right? Censorship. So we have Microsoft and doing the censorship with LinkedIn in China with the Tiananmen Square, and then we have the Chinese actually doing their thing, censoring their students abroad. Terrible. Okay, check this out. This is another one. This is by ScienceAlert.com, and yeah, exactly. Human rights, lol. Exactly. Ask the Uyghurs that are in concentration camps in China about the human rights in China. Okay, here we go. This is a pretty cool article here. Simulations reveal the most likely place for a galactic civilization in the Milky Way. So Milky Way is 13 billion years old, blah, blah, blah. But the galaxy is so ancient and we know it can create life. Why haven't we heard from anybody else? If another civilization was just 0.1% of the galaxy's age older than we are, they would be millions of years further along than us and presumably more advanced. If we are already on the cusp of sending life to other worlds, shouldn't the Milky Way be teeming with alien ships and colonies by now? Maybe, but it's also possible that we've been looking in the wrong place. Recent computer simulations by Jason T. Wright and team suggest that the best place to look for ancient spacefaring civilizations might be the core of the galaxy, a relatively unexplored target in the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. Now, I thought this was pretty hot. If you look at the video here, it's describing how the actual civilizations might actually progress through the actual galaxy here. So check this out. I'm going to play this. It's real short. It's only like 40 seconds. But you see as this thing spins, the red dots there that you see are civilizations. And look what happens as the actual galaxy spins, and they start spreading her out around different areas of where they started. Look what happens as it spins. It kind of brings them closer and closer to the center as they sort of branch out and start looking in other areas of, to explore the cosmos per se, right? So you see, once they start actually populating many of the places around themselves, it ends up becoming much easier to become a spacefaring civilization with basically because of the saturation of time to travel between the center and the edges of the galaxy. So I think it's pretty sound. It makes sense that if you're going to find any kind of spacefaring civilizations, they might be right in the center somewhere. So anyway, pretty cool stuff. Nice little simulation. I'm usually not a fan of computer simulations, but this one seems to make a lot of sense. And of course, it's speculation. speculation style, so what can you do? It's fun to speculate on where the aliens are, and I think this is a great way to look at it, that if it kind of just spins further and further and look at the middle. Once they get to the middle, they just start populating planets and systems like crazy. So it stands to reason that this is a legitimate test, in my opinion. But what the hell do I know? Let's continue, shall we? New York Post. Actually, one more quick word from our sponsor, which is you, and we'll keep on trucking.
Are you digging the show? If so, you can support us quite easily and at no additional cost to you if you already have an Amazon Prime account. Since we stream on Twitch every day, all you have to do is link your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account, and they give you free games on a monthly basis for your personal use, and also a bonus $5 a month to send to your favorite streamer as a way to bring more people to Twitch. And all you have to do is sync up the two accounts and click subscribe. Thanks for considering us.
All right, thank you very much. Let's go to, this is the New York Post, and interestingly, notably, this may end up a troubled mind show, but yeah, the headline here, it's an opinion from an individual by the name of, who wrote this article? Does it even say? Yes, no, it does not. By Post editorial board. Interesting. Not even a name, just the editorial board. Anyway, headline is this: UFO news is just clickbait. And there's some interesting actual things in the UFO world with the Stephen Greer documentary that just came out, accusing Lou and Chris Mellon and those guys of being propagandists, of being CIA liars. So we'll hopefully we'll be talking about that on Wednesday with Ash. But there's it's linked in the Discord already. If you guys are not part of that, I would recommend giving that a watch. It is interesting, and they talk about exo racism as well, if you can believe that. Anyway, UFO news is just clickbait. Here it is. Yes, UFOs and little green men are fun and have inspired tons of entertaining fiction. But the U.S. intelligence community was entirely right to dump all over the conspiracy theories and, quote, "they're really out there" nonsense in its report on sightings of unidentified aerial phenomena. NASA boss Bill Nelson admitted that we may not be alone in the universe, but the odds are overwhelming that any intelligent neighbors are far, far away. The report didn't explicitly rule out extraterrestrial activity as an explanation for the 144 UAP sightings by military pilots and other federal workers since 2004, but it also provides zero evidence supporting alien theories. Connected crackpots and cranks have gotten a few politicians to force the Pentagon to investigate the issue several times and even to hire believers for some of the work. One such nut or cynic, yep, they said it, Lou Elizondo, claims that higher-ups ignore and actively suppress evidence of alien encounters. But the only evidence for his claims is a UAP file detailing sightings with no clear explanations. Interesting. This was the type of propaganda I expected to come out shortly following the release of the UAP report. Is that just to kind of crap all over the fact that they're like, well, look, they didn't say it was aliens, and so it's not aliens, and so get over it, you're all a bunch of nut jobs, right? But whoever this is, notably, they don't put a name behind it. It's by the Post editorial board, which is notable to me, that nobody will stand behind it, right? Other than the generic nondescript group of people like, oh, I don't know, ancient astronaut theorists say yes. Yeah, the Post editorial board says UFO news is just clickbait, and not that I completely disagree. However, it is notable that they didn't put an author's name on this. But anyway, so point being is that we're all just a bunch of cranks, and for believing in anything about UFOs, and that's that. It's a wrap, right? It's just button it up. It's done. There's no aliens, and go back to paying your taxes happily. Yep. Well, or not so happily, as the case may be. But yeah, this is there you go. Helena says it right. FFS, own it if you're going to say it. Yeah, exactly. Put your name behind this crap, not some generic ancient astronaut theorists say yes. Do I have that? No, I don't. Damn it. See, I gotta redo my soundboards. I had a hard drive that was like full, and I was like nursing like the last 100 gigabytes, and it was not fun, so I just had to upgrade. Anyway, more boring details. Let's continue, shall we? Let's go to space.com. Yeah, now this is interesting and notable. Could there be a link between interstellar visitor Oumuamua and unidentified aerial phenomena? Interesting. Avilobe has been talking about this for quite some time. We've been talking about this for for quite some time. And who knows, right? That actually looks amazingly like a space turd in that photograph, but I'm gonna just not say that again. Here we go. Recently there have been two sources for such evidence. First, the interstellar object discovered in 2017, Oumuamua, was inferred to have a flat shape and seemed to be pushed away from the sun as if it were a light sail. This pancake was tumbling once every 8 hours and originated from the rare state of the local standard of rest, which averages over the motions of all the stars in the vicinity of the sun. Second, the Pentagon is about to deliver a report to Congress. Well, they just did. If UAP originated from China or Russia and were a national security risk, their existence would never have been revealed to the public. Hence, it is reasonable to conclude that the U.S. government believes that some of these objects are not human in origin. This leaves two possibilities. Either UAP are natural terrestrial phenomena or they are extraterrestrial in origin. Both possibilities imply something new and interesting that we did not know before. Anyway, notice, right? So this one they're kind of shining on the extraterrestrial theory. The other one, this is from space.com. The other one from the New York Post is like, nah, UFOs are just clickbait. You're all a bunch of idiots. And so this is the type of stuff, like these two pieces are very much the juxtaposition of what I expected of the gamut of coverage, basically. Was this type of stuff that was just shitting all over it and saying you guys are nuts, and then another one that was kind of like really pushing the narrative along a little bit. So I don't know. Anyway, just notable, and it's a space peanut. It's a space peanut. Any Joe Dirt fans out there? All right, let's go. There's more. This is from EFF.org, packed full of news today because there's tons of news to talk about today because, well, that's just the way we roll. All right, EFF is the Electronic Frontier Foundation. And I've been saying this for quite a while now, and I think this is where the future lies in legislation. If we have an honest anything, I think this is important to note that now is the time. Tell Congress to ban federal use of face recognition. Yeah, right? Yeah. Now, here we go. Let's see. Now Congress must do its part. We've created a campaign that will easily allow you to contact your elected federal officials and tell them to co-sponsor the Facial Recognition and Biometric Technology Moratorium Act. Now, here's a link to that actual thing. Oop. And it's a broken link. How about that? I'm going to put it there in case it comes back up. But they're actually trying to get people to contact Congress as part of this. There's a take action button here. You got both links. Please fill this out. This is the type of stuff that needs to be happening. Instead of looking backwards and trying to legislate the 1870s, I think we need to be looking forward and try and legislate the 2050s before they get here. And this is exactly one of those things, which is facial recognition and federal use. And of course, as we know, it's already been abused through the Ring doorbell system. It's already been abused through Facebook. It's already been abused through many different platforms in a private capacity that the cops have been able to use to circumvent the Fourth Amendment, which is not okay. This stuff is not okay. If they can't find you the old-fashioned way, they should not be able to just tap into a database somewhere and be like, oh, got him. Go arrest this guy. It's not fair. It's not fair. It is not okay. And again, as part of like the due process and the reasonable right to privacy, this is not okay. This is not okay. So anyway, if this comes back up, I will link this here, and hopefully it will come back up instead of a 404 error, where you can send this off to your Congress people, your senators, and those assholes, because, well, that's what they are. Anyway, here we go. Let's continue. Yeah. And not only that, we talked about a bunch of censorship today with China and some other things, but not only that, nationofchange.org, and there's more censorship, of course, but it's here. It's not just in China. Yep. U.S. censorship is increasingly official. While corporate media like to highlight the many press freedom shortcomings of hostile foreign nations, the censorship worries start much closer to home. And this is what we talk about on this show quite often. Not recently, because we've been doing tons of UFO stuff, but now that we're going to do 4 Troubled Mind shows a week, did I mention that? Monday through Thursday. We're adding a show, so maybe we'll be able to do some more. You guys tell me, would you rather hear more stuff like this, where it's talking about censorship censorship and China, and not just China, but also here, Facebook and some of the big tech platforms? Or what do you want to hear? So with an extra show, I've been trimming out this type of stuff because it usually gets less engagement. It seems like you guys are more bored with it. Just general, long-term, overall, the numbers kind of suggest that, which you would expect because it's not really as clickbaity as, the aliens are here. So I understand. But anyway, that's why I was going to add maybe a show like this per week, something like this. But if it bores you to tears, then maybe once every other week or something. Anyway, there's more time to talk about more things. So point being, we could do more of this stuff if you guys like hearing about it. So anyway, of course, the Biden administration made headlines last week as it moved. Now check this out. In case you didn't know, this is what happened. And this is real. This really happened last week. Last week, the Biden administration moved to shut down the websites of 33 foreign media outlets, including ones based in Iran, Bahrain, Yemen, and Palestine. Officials have justified the decision by claiming the organizations were agents of disinformation. The most notable of these is probably English-language Iranian state broadcaster Press TV. Visitors to Press TV are now met with the seal of the Department of Justice and the FBI and a message notifying them that the domain has been seized by the United States government. Here we go. Let's go to presstv.com and you can see it for yourself. That's exactly what it looks like. This website has been seized. The domain presstv.com has been seized by the United States government in accordance with a seizure warrant issued pursuant to 18 U.S.C. 981, 982, and 50 U.S.C. 1701 to 1705 as part of a law enforcement action by the Bureau of Industry and Security, Office of Export Enforcement, and Federal Bureau of Investigation. There you go. Straight on the website. You go to it, and they've basically shut down their business because they think the news they're peddling is disinformation, right? Which is insane to me because the news we get from Fox and CNN is disinformation, literally, and it's sponsored by the CIA. All right. If it's not directly sponsored, it's at least allowed. All right. And this is the type of thing. So there's one example, right? There's one example. There were 33 more that happened last week. 33 more. And this is the type of shit that's terrifying because once they start doing this, right, again, remember how I always say it's critical to note who they call terrorists because the definition of terrorist always changes. They recently added hackers to this because of the pipeline hack and the meat production hack. Remember, January 6th, they suddenly changed anybody who voted red to becoming a terrorist. These types of things, right? Domestic terror. Like, we got to be careful of these definitions, these political definitions that change as the wind blows and turn us and anybody else that tries to think freely, right? Doesn't buy the bullshit they put in the media as actual terrorists. In any case, 33 foreign media outlets, their domains seized and their web presence completely erased by the government. It's not okay. This is not okay. This is not an okay thing, and this is the type of stuff that we should be thinking about, we should be talking about. And if we're sending letters to our representatives, why not about this? This is not okay. Like, I get it if they're sharing, like, ISIS propaganda beheading people, fine. Right? Fine. Just short of that, no. Like, leave the shit up. Leave it up. Like if you don't have a good case against it, why are you trying to censor it? Want to know? Just asking. Like, if you can't refute the things they're saying about your government that runs really terribly, and it does in many cases, and I love this country, don't get me wrong. The reason I criticize it, the reason I'm upset about the things that happen, is because if we continue to let them happen, this won't be what it ever is again, ever. We're slipping. And this is becoming worse and worse. So anyway, this is what's happening, right? And of course, the press doesn't report on this because they're just carrying water for the Joe Biden administration, right? Oh, lunch bucket Joe. Come on, man! That guy. Yeah. Right? Who probably can't even tie his shoes anymore, right? He's probably Velcros because, cognitive function, etc. I'm just asking or speculating, speculating for a friend, let's say. Anyway, as we finish this, what's up? What's up, Alien Nichan says, the shutting down of free speech is getting more prevalent. How do we stop it? I think the only way to start is to again these form letters. I'll see if I can find something that will actually talk about something like this, where we can send a form letter. Maybe there'll be something on change.org. I'll take a look. At least it's something. It's a start. It's letting the powers that be know that we're watching and we don't approve of stuff like this. So I don't know. I don't know. There you go. Helena says keep shouting, and I think that's all you can do, because if you take it any step past shouting, you're a terrorist. Remember, it's not okay. It's not okay. This is part of the upside down world we live in, right? That if you back up the military industrial complex and think it's just fine dropping bombs on kids in the Middle East, you're in the club, like it's cool. You're fine. Like, oh, you're cool with that? We're cool with you. But if you're like, wait a minute, you're dropping bombs on kids in the Middle East, they're like, oh, not very patriotic, are you? No. I'm sorry. That's not the way this works. That's not the way this works. No. And so they're trying to frame it that way. The upside down world we live in. Anyway, as we finish, we're done here. And as you know, we're adding a Troubled Mind show tonight, so we will be on at 7 p.m. Pacific. Let me do the quick outro here with what we're doing, what we're talking about. If anybody out there can help me find a form letter, maybe on change.org for this press censorship or any of the rest of this, that facial recognition one, I'll take a look after we're done here and see if I could share it a little bit later tonight on the show. But this stuff is horrific. This stuff is not good, and this is why we talk about these things, because like I said, they protect the powers that be. They protect the establishment, and even when things are broken AF, when they're just beyond recognition, there's issues that we need to address. They continue to keep making it hard. Keep making it hard. There you go, Coin67. I think you should expand conspiracy news to 2 hours, so allowing for better opportunity time to call-ins once a week. Excuse me. Well, hours and more hours and more hours. There's a lot of hours behind the scenes too, so it's hard for me to pack more hours in. But you do get one more Troubled Mind show. So here's what we're going to do tonight, just to give you a heads up before we start on that. Probably we're not going to go the full 3 hours, just because we have this show today as well. So what I'll do is I'll do the 2 hours on Fringe, and we'll do like an extra 30 minutes. We'll basically go until we get no more calls. And if we don't get calls on the second after we're off the radio, then we'll just end it kind of early-ish. So it's up to you. If you guys want to go as long as we need to go, then you guys will call. If you don't, then there's no pressure on me to like dance for a third hour with nobody calling, because that's when the pressure starts to mount, because I've usually said the things I needed to say by then, and it's kind of tap dancing. So that's what we'll do for tonight, just because we already had this show. I don't want to do like a 5-hour marathon sort of situation. So that's what's up. So we'll end it a little bit early. We'll keep taking calls until calls dry up, and then we'll finish the show tonight. Just so you know, just so nobody's angry that we finished early. So anyway, but if you keep calling, we ain't gonna finish. All right, what's up, guys? Let's see. Thanks everybody for subbing up. I appreciate that. Thanks for the gift subs there. 40s AM. Thanks everybody for hanging out and listening to this. And let's don't forget Troubled Minds tonight at 7 p.m. Pacific. Here we go. Let's play the Star Wars crawl outro. Again, I haven't updated this. If I missed anybody or if I mispronounced your name, let me know and we'll correct it, and we'll keep it trucking. Let's play this. There it is. See? Quint67. Let's keep Mike on for a 5-hour marathon tonight. You guys are trying to break me. Thank you for our Twitch subs. AJ Dare, Alien Nichan, Dark Devious, 40s AM, Ident, J Up, Jay from New York, Noble Kal-El, Monochromatic, Not the Golf Channel, Quint67, Stinky Carnival, Super Vike 1, Satan Claus. Patreon supporters, thank you as well. Alien Nichan, who has done both, thank you for that. Axel Steele, Dark Devious has done both as well. Dwayne Dibley, Hell21, JF has done both Patreon and the other. Matt Sowell and Twigs. And there you go. Thank you very much, guys. If I missed anybody, let me know. I'll add you to the list. If I mispronounced your name or whatever else, contact me for corrections, and I would be happy to do so. Thanks again. again for being part of this. Thanks for supporting the show. Thanks everybody out there in the chat. Thanks for listening. Stay tuned. 7 p.m. tonight, Fringe and YouTube and everywhere else where we usually do it. We'll have Troubled Minds coming to you. So, yeah, hang tight. Hang tight. Be right back. Happy Monday, guys. See you in a bit. Also, Large Marge, 2 months with Twitch. Sorry about that. Left you off the list, didn't I? I see it. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Thanks, guys. We'll see you tonight.